Hi there, my name's Daphne. I'm one of the tutors here at IeltsPodcast.com. Thanks for getting involved in the course. It's a really good way to get some feedback before your exam. Let me go through your first two essays with you and just give you a bit of guidance here. So they're both to do with education, really. So some think schools should or have to be more entertaining. Others think their sole purpose is to educate, which do you agree with? So you start off nicely here. It is often argued by few communities. Be careful with this word few. I would take it out. Few, as you've written it here, means two or three. So just be careful with that word. It can have different meanings on how you use it, so I just leave it. By communities, that the major focus of educational institutions has to be studies, while others, again take out that, contradict them, you'd have to have, saying that schools, you don't need to have the, because it's an institution now. Schools should not only be centres of learning, okay, to learn, but also to have fun. Okay, that's fine. I believe that a place of learning should not concentrate solely on academics, but also on pleasure-filled activities. Yeah. It might be nice to have here just such as sport or art, just to give me an idea of what you're thinking. This essay will discuss how enjoyment in schools, along with reading, I would leave that out to do with reading, I would cut that, enjoyment in school. You could have along with studies, but just enjoyment, helps to increase, don't use grasping, it's too informal, helps to increase the learning of skills as well as improve, we don't use that word, improving a child's personality. Okay. Giving reasons to justify and examples. Yeah, justify the viewpoint. Okay, good intro. Firstly, people these days are basically, I wouldn't use that. That's not very sort of academic language. Are under the opinion that the main purpose of a study centre is to impart education. Okay. Furthermore, encouraging any other activities may be considered. I wouldn't say is, I'd say may. These modal verbs in these essays are really useful. May, might, could. We're going to use those a lot. We're not going to make big statements like is that we can't prove. May be considered as don't use prohibition, the wrong use of that word. May be considered a waste of time. Your language is kind of quite high level, but a lot of it is quite awkward. It's not necessarily how we would use these words naturally. The skill in IELTS is to be natural yet sophisticated in language. So sometimes you might think I'm simplifying, but I'm only doing that to make it sound more natural, like how we would actually use it. So I would put waste of time there. Or a higher level word is superfluous. Is also a really good word. That means like not needed, too much. This is mainly because of the fact that parents are under the false impression that only bookish knowledge, I would use academic, helps children. No. I just say succeed, earn more endeavours. Again, that's sort of awkward. We wouldn't say that. Succeed in life and excel in their career. We wouldn't use that. I would just say in their career. Unfortunately, the reality is quite different. Making a learning centre more enthusiastic and lively increases the overall understanding, or I'd say comprehension, of a child. In addition, it also helps in the overall mental development, as it is the place where youngsters spend most of their time. Okay, their time. Yeah, good sentence. For example, a report published by the Educational Authority stated that don't use kids too informal. Children who engage in extracurricular activities like sports outperformed in studies than their counterparts. Good. Nice paragraph. That works well. Secondly, having leisure time in a studio, don't know, we're talking school, makes young adults not get adverse to, I would say change it round, makes young adults enthusiastic about school or any other form of learning. The main reason behind this is that students often get pressure by academic targets and shun away from attending school. Good. However, these recreational activities, such as, you need to tell me what you mean. It's really important that you show what you mean by this. Yeah? So I mentioned it in the beginning, but you need to give me some detailed examples now. Act like a lifeline and encourage them to develop a positive attitude towards school. For example, yes, that's fine, but you need to tell me what you mean here. So I need to know, adding in sport, adding in music, adding in drama. Why is that good? Why does that make a difference? To conclude from the examples, I firmly believe having a joyous atmosphere, nice, is much required in present-day education centres, and the aim of these should not only be studies, but develop the personality of the child. Good, okay, really nice. There's lots of good stuff there. Well done. Second one, doing an activity with a child can develop better skills. Now, be careful because I feel you're talking about schools again, and this isn't quite right. It's often argued by parents, again, we're going to cut that studying helps a child learn more and develop a better personality. Okay, but we're not talking about studying here. We're talking about reading. This is literally reading a lovely book. It can be a picture book. It can be anything. We're talking about quite young children, I think, here. It's really reading or playing football or painting. Yeah, so these are the kind of arguments you want to be having here. I completely believe that learning academics, when combined with a joyful task, you see, no, we're not talking about that. That was the first essay you've just done. Yeah, so I don't think that is quite the right. Yeah, I mean that is exactly what this essay was about. I don't think this is right for this. We're talking about which can develop better skills. So you need to be talking about the kind of skills that are useful in life, and can you get those kind of skills from doing sport or music, or can you get them from reading, or which is better? Firstly, a child is considered to be an epicenter of interest. Use that, a bit strange. Unfortunately, many elders of this generation feel that inculcating, we don't use that inculcating, introducing or encouraging would be better. The habit of reading in their child builds up the shape of the child and makes them, okay, I would say encourages children to be, now we might not use creative because that's a word that's in the question, inspires them to be thoughtful, inspires them to generate their own ideas. I like the word individual, that's good. This is because of the external pressure put on society to achieve good marks and grades. Well, no, because this is relevant to school, and this essay is not talking about school. It's often forgotten that activities like sports in the curriculum. Yes, I mean that's fine, but we're not talking about curriculum. So we're talking about doing an activity with a child. Go back to the question here. I feel you've gone a little bit off point. Doing an activity with a child. So we're not talking about the school day. We're talking about you going to the park and playing, or taking the child to the cinema, or taking a child to a museum, or children playing video games, that kind of thing. Really important, don't worry, but really important to really understand the question, because the task achievement, so that's quite a large part of the marks, is absolutely to do with if you've answered the question. Yeah. Okay, furthermore, this way of learning a subject is more pleasurable and concepts can be grasped. A recent survey, yes, I mean that's right. So play table tennis, yes. So table tennis is a lovely example, but not at school. Forget the at school stuff. So table tennis, fine, but better concentration, yes, that's a nice skill. So use that example, yeah, or use football and table tennis and develop that as an argument. Secondly, personality can be taught by teaching them an activity. Basic reason behind this is that qualities and activity associated with art is, yeah, which are, namely, so what sort of qualities would you, what sort of qualities would you be developing like that? A child associated with art or music or painting is considered to be more mature and at peace. Okay, I like that. Good example. For instance, I would say children instead of people there because you need to link it back to children. Art, more innovative. Okay, good. Which is important both for mental and physical health. And yeah, I think you can just leave it like that. Yeah. So talk to me about what activities you might be doing. So taking the child for a walk, going to the seaside, something like that. Develop this paragraph is what we want, but develop it a bit more then. To conclude, even though reading helps a child in acquiring knowledge, yes, its value increases when it's combined with an activity that practically demonstrates a concept. Yes, okay, that's nice. So the conclusion's fine. For me, you haven't really answered the question totally. Um, Go back to the modules that Ben talked about at the beginning of the course. He gives you a really good example of this essay, and he's talking about video games and developing spatial awareness and concentration skills and teamwork and cognitive learning skills. Go back to that video and then look at your essay again, and then hopefully you can see what I mean in my corrections, okay? What we suggest you do is that you do your corrections. So you write the essay again. Don't need to send it to me. Can if you want. But just write the corrections. Make a note of the kind of mistakes you're making. The main thing I'm going to pull out of this is vocabulary. Just getting the balance of vocabulary right. Getting exactly the right word. And obviously making sure you really understand the question. So take some time at the beginning before you write to really think about the question. But good effort and thank you. Well done.